So we are live now.
Hello.
Yeah. A very good evening and a very warm welcome to all our viewers from all around the world. Myself, Shubham Tayal from Harbour Press International, and I will be hosting today's session of Exam Talk Inspirational Prep with our three eminent resource person, Ms. Falguni Thakker, Ms. Moitri Chaudhary, and Ms. Tejal Mehta. So in today's session, we'll be talking about how the children should make a proper plan, how the children should make a well-organized timetable, which will definitely aid them in achieving their ultimate goal of getting good marks in final examinations. So before starting the session, I'd like to briefly introduce our three eminent resource persons. So starting with Ms. Falguni Thakker. Ms. Falguni Thakker is a speaker for maths and science. She is the founder of Falguni Miss Classes, Ville Parle West, Mumbai. She is also a founder of Parent Teacher Student WhatsApp and Telegram Global ICSE group of more than 10,000 members to guide the ICSE students of standard 6 to 10th all across the boundaries. Her motto has been to mold creative minds into creating thinkers and analyzers and help students become a perfectionist. Some of her achievements have been creating a legacy of rankers at all India level and school level since 2003. She's also been an author of Checkpoint, Key Point, and Final Revision Paper series for Harbour Press International. She has also worked as a junior scientist in product development with research and development team at Cadbury India Limited. She has a 30 years of teaching experience in maths and science in ICSE stream for the standards 8th, 9th, and 10th. There are some educational and life skill programs which I like to tell you about, which are conducted at Falguni Miss Classes. For ICSE standard 9th and 10th, she conducts regular educational batches, test series batches, online batches, and crash courses. For overall development of the child, she conducts workshops on time management, self-help learning techniques, and a role of a topper's mother. So coming to our second speaker, Ms. Mohitri Chaudhary. She'll be speaking on English literature. Her motto in life has been hard work and perseverance can create excellence. She has ensured students acquire and consolidate knowledge and achieve high scores in ICSE throughout her life. She has extensively encouraged use of online audio and video resources and technology to enhance lessons in English and history. Some of her participation in workshops she's attended English language and literature workshop conducted by the East Zone Office and Management Skills Center, ICSE, Kolkata. She has also attended a creative writing workshop and said Gregorius School. She has also been part of some interactive workshops on enhancement of listening and speaking skills organized by Pitambar Publication. She's also been a part of workshop on art and nuances of setting question papers in English at Jabna Bai Nursery School. She's also attended a workshop on teaching and evaluation of English conducted by Rita Wilson. She has also participated in the Drishti Annual Symposium, Managing Diversity in the Classroom. She is presently working at a senior position in a reputed ICSE school. She is also presently teaching English and history for standard 8th, 9th, and 10th. She is engaged in teaching senior school for the past 25 years. She has been involved with organizing and training students for extracurricular activities at school level. She has also been planning and executing inter-school English allocation competition. So coming to our third resource person, that is Ms. Tejal Mehta, who is going to teach you a lot about vocabulary, and she's a speaker for English language. She's the founder of Vocab Wizards Creative Writing Institute, which is located in Juhu, Mumbai. She is also the co-founder of Parent Teacher Students WhatsApp and Telegram Global ICSE group of more than 10,000 members to guide the ICSE students of standard 6 to 10th all across the boundaries. Since its inception, Vocab Wizards has come a long way in constructing an environment which stimulates creativity in every child. In this journey of over a decade, She has been fortunate to receive the unstinting support of the parents and the unconditional love of the children. It has made her what she is today. This constant source of inspiration motivates her to introduce novel concepts in teaching. Constantly evolving, she is thankful for the precious chance to teach the writers of tomorrow. Some of her achievements have been with over 500 students enrolling in her institute every year. They have brought us great laurels in the form of excellent grades and certificates in competitions. She has also been involved in innovative programs conducted at vocab visits, such as English proficiency course regular batches and online courses, Model United Nations, Debate Club, Book Club, Ladies English course, and creative expression and writing workshops. So viewers, there's a lot of things to be learned from today's session. And without making any further ado, I'll ask Ms. Falguni to continue with the session.
Thank you very much, Shubham sir, for this wonderful introduction. May I share the screen, Shubham sir?
Yes, definitely, ma'am.
You will have to give me the permission.
Yeah. I'm just doing that. You can do it now.
So first, I would love to thank Harbour Press International. Harbour Press International has created this wonderful platform for ICSE Standard 9th and 10th students for creating a place where they can resolve their exam-centric doubts regarding English language, literature, maths, and science. A very warm welcome to all the parents and students to Exam Talks, an inspirational prep webinar. Studying online was never a way of life. But in these unprecedented times, it has become the new normal, and each of us are battling to actually adjust to this situation. This new normal has different and unique structure of study for parents, for teachers, and students. So the key to success for this shift that we all are facing globally is the main important part here, looking at different ways and means to make this preparation journey stress-free. So first, that we have to be open-minded. We have to be receptive for change. We have to understand that we can't do the way we were doing. So most important is be receptive and embrace this change. And second most important one is managing your time wisely. If you will not manage your time wisely, then of course, you will go on getting those backlogs. So if these two things are done, yes, you can achieve this. So if we systematically plan and execute it, this lockdown cannot overpower us, right? So now, may I request my colleague, Ms. Tejal Mehta, to share the role of a parent. Tejal ma'am, please.
Thank you so much, Falguni. May I have the slide, please? So, hello parents. Again, before on the onset, I would like to thank Mr. Shubham and Harbour Press for giving us this platform. So parents, success is what all of us seek, but how does one achieve it? As we can see on the screen, I would say it's a Triveni Sangam that works together. And even in these COVID times, I think the role of the parent really stands out. Today, of course, we have gathered to speak about stress-free preparation for exams. How do we achieve it? Parents, you can see on the screen that on one side of the arrow is the teacher's role. The teacher can guide, explain, provide the notes. They are, of course, the guru who are there to hold your child's hand. And the student, as a diligent student, understands, learns, practices, provides everything. But I personally feel that it is actually the parent who is the favicol, which brings both of the sides of the arrow together. They are literally the friend, philosopher, and guide. They are actually the true listeners to the child's heart and mind that really helps them achieve to climb the ladder of success. The reason for pointing out the pivotal role of parents is, again, because of the pandemic. Falguni ma'am, Moitri ma'am, suddenly parents are experiencing homeschooling. Though they have paid the fees for schools, homeschooling, Shubham sir, has been thrust on them. And without them looking into the diet, the nutrition, the sleeping patterns, the recreation of the children, how will it ever be possible to achieve the goal of stress-free parenting or stress-free preparation or stress-free success? So first I want to give 3 cheers to the parents who form the backbone of this entire process, along with
Very well said.
along with teachers and students. So after accepting the fact that parents are the ones who not only give birth but nurture every step of their child's life, I would like Falguni ma'am to take us to the next slide.
Absolutely. That was a wonderful point made, parent, that a parent is a vital link. So yes, Tejal Miss, you are absolutely right. So now, parents, we are coming to classification of subject. So when we start with our exam preparation, first, I would like to brief on what kind of subjects are there, what is there. You all have already chosen, but there would be many here who would not know what kind of magnanimity is existing for ICSE students. So ICSE has 3 groups. In the first group, we have got 5 subjects, but some schools have the option of doing 6 subjects. So the 6th subject is an optional subject, which all schools do not opt. So we have English language, literature, history, civics, geography, second language. So these are forming your compulsory part, and 6th is optional. Depends on your school. So group 2, it has 7 subjects. You have to choose any 2. So you have mathematics, science, economics, commercial studies, classical language, environmental science, and modern foreign language. So any 2 of your choice. Group 3, there are 15 subjects and you have to choose any 1. So looking at the wonderful, the combination of your subjects and the enormity that each child is going to go through in the 9th and 10th. Today, we are going to discuss how to score maximum in English language, literature, maths, and science. Now, literature, maths, and science, it is extremely possible and simple to score 100. But the problem comes with English language. So, today, I'm going to call my friend, Ms. Tejal Mehta, to guide us on how English language can be made more interesting, more creative to get a maximum score. So Tejal Miss, all yours.
Thank you. Falguni, when you showed this slide of the classification of subjects, I hope, Moitri ma'am, the parents understand the burden that is literally there on the child's shoulder as well as mind. When you see all the subjects together, it truly points out that why the child is stressed. So I'm very glad, Falguni, that in the onset you have made them aware. Now let's go to English language. First and foremost, one might wonder why English language? Why should we pay attention to English language? Parents, the reason being that English language cannot be compiled into a textbook, that you have the textbook with you as your companion to read and understand. And nor is it completely logical that you can apply logic and you can solve the paper. Parents, children, if I could ask you this question directly, I'm sure most of you will agree that as soon as the language paper comes in front of you, what stumps you? There's only one thing staring down at you, and it is the composition topic. And why? Why does that happen? Because the topic can be any topic under the sun. And the examiner expects you to write it in an excellent logical sequence with flawless English. Obviously, you are in ICSE school, that has to be expected. But you attempt the question with dread because you're not sure you have the relevant points or you have the presence of mind to be able to tackle that particular topic. So is there a solution to this? I'm very happy to let you know, yes, there is a solution to this. It is not a gray area where you're just shooting in the dark. So I now draw your attention to the points on the screen. Parents, the first point is a ready reckoner. Parents, in the market, there are innumerable reference books which cover topics given by ICSE from the 8th, 9th and 10th. I'm referring to different essay books. Excellent material is available in the market, but it is all there. How do you make the best use of it? Parents, children, I suggest what you need to do is that every day, or at least thrice a week, pick up one topic. One topic could be a 1 page or 2 pages. While reading it every night before going to sleep, while reading it, just underline important vocabulary and thoughts and list it down in a bulleted form, a hard-bound book, and compile it into a paragraph. How much time would that take? It would not take more than 15 minutes. Shubham sir, if this, I would like your opinion on this, sir, that I think you're an engineering student, Shubham sir?
No, ma'am, I'm a commerce student.
Commerce student, very good. So, sir, yeah. If a child does only 3 topics every week, and if we continue like this way for 6 months, wouldn't it be around 70 topics bulleted in their own handwriting in a beautiful hardbound book, which becomes his textbook? I hope my maths is right, sir.
Yes, ma'am, that's a very, very bright and a very wonderful idea for the children to follow. And, the more and more repetitive hammering of the same topics, of the same concept happens in their mind, and the better is it helps them to, score good marks in the examinations, to understand the concepts better. And this method is, really wonderful, and they should certainly adopt this making points and, repeating it again and again.
So, Shubham sir, the reason for me speaking about this ready reckoner is that before a language exam, believe me, all the children are wondering what do they exactly do. They do not Falguni ma'am, for you, there is a textbook that they have. Moitri ma'am, Merchant of Venice.
Yes.
What do you want to say?
Yes, Tejal Mehta, I'd like to say that the day before the language paper is mostly spent on, now that is pandemic. Of course, even though there is no pandemic, it's spent on watching Netflix or going down to play a round of football, spending time outside some shopping mall. Why? Because it's a
or I take away some time for math.
some time for math, yes. But they must know that visiting the mall can be a topic in the English language paper. So they need to enter those points on their visit to the mall and the ready reckoner that they are all going to create.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you. So daily activities can become a part of the ready reckoner. So let me get you back to the point that parents, if the children create around 60 to 70 topics of bulleted points converted into a single paragraph, and that is available as a textbook to them for reading one day before the exam, something which is in their own handwriting, I think not only will they be able to tackle any topic under the sun, but they will have a logical sequence of ideas, thoughts, and vocabulary, which they can actually copy from the gray matter up here and paste it right into the paper. So creation of a ready reckoner is very, very important. It is your own textbook, children. It's your own textbook, which you are going to hold close to your chest. Yeah. The second point is a scrapbook. The board parents requires that the age of 16, definitely your child, who is the young citizen of tomorrow, should be aware of the current events. In fact, the question paper, the first 5 questions of composition, there are questions which are based on current events. And if you attempt that, it is something which is very impressive. But do the children pick up the newspaper? I'm sure there's a smile on everyone's lips. It's not even a question mark. Either the children do not want to pick up the paper or they do not have the time. So let's not play the blame game up here. How do we help them? Again, here, Falguni, the reason for saying 3 cheers to the parents is because the parents are going to help out up here. Parents, absolutely. So parents, every morning you want to sit down with your lovely cup of coffee and the crisp morning newspaper. Please, along with your cup of coffee and the newspaper, please arm yourself with a pen. And as you're reading, circle the topics which you think that your child needs to be aware of. At the end of your reading session, cut out those topics and paste it in a scrapbook, keeping it by the child's bedside. So now, this scrapbook is going to be something which I would say in a very Indian way, Sone pe suhaga, because that actually reflects how it's going to help your child. Yeah, because that's thrice a week, if your child is reading topics for the ready reckoner from reference books, thrice a week, he balances it by reading the newspaper created by the mother and father. It is the craft of the parents that creates a readily available newspaper for the child. And he will have thorough knowledge even of the current events, which he can supplement in the examination paper.
Tejal Mehta, I would like to chime in over here because it is a wonderful, an idea worth imbibing by many teachers, by many parents, because as an examiner, I must say that children kind of hunt around for words, so those words that they hunt around for are readily available in that ready reckoner. And definitely a day before the examination, if you can go through your words, you may read 100 words, but believe me, you'll be able to imbibe 25 words and create a beautiful composition out of your ready reckoner. You come back excited and thorough about the fact that yes, you are going to get those marks. So it is definitely a wonderful idea and can be very easily implemented. I must say that.
Thank you, Moitri Miss. So, parents, now, if your child is armed with the ready reckoner, with the scrapbook, definitely he has enough knowledge to believe that he can attack any topic that is under the sun. But again, there is a little loophole up here too. Moitri Miss, I would like you to answer this question. As a person who regularly corrects questions, question papers, there are challenging questions and of course the safer option. Assuming there are 100 papers in front of you, can you tell me how many would go for the safe option and how many go for the challenging one?
Yes, if there are 100 papers, I would like to give you statistics on this, that there are, let's say, 85% who would take the safer path. It is those 15% who will tread the untread path. And those 15% are the ones who are going to score, because the examiner or the teacher have read 85 papers on the same topic. The relevancy or the importance of the topic diminishes as she keeps reading. A kind of fatigue sets in. So whenever she finds a paper where a child has written a beautiful composition on how pets can be a source of love and joy at home, definitely it brings a smile on the face of the examiner. And believe me, parents and students who are there today on this platform, this will give an extra edge in the exam. That goes across all boards.
So, Moitri Miss, I think the ready reckoner, the bulleted points will help the child pick up challenging topics. But what if I want to go for the safe option? How do I set myself apart from everyone else? I be away from the herd who has answered the question.
Yes, for that, if you are choosing a safe option, you can take a safe option, but you have to think out of the box. You can write an essay on Children's Day, but you can make it unique by imbibing the fact that on a particular Children's Day, it is the teachers who took them back to their little small younger years. It is the teachers who became the students, and they created a beautiful Children's Day function for all the students. So rather than just writing on you going to school, eating that samosa or having a cold drinks and performing something, you can always change your ideas and say the teachers became the children and students, and they created a beautiful Children's Day program out of nothing. So that can give an extra edge. Definitely you can tread a safer path.
So it is still in the safer path, the unique idea. But still, if you do not have a unique idea, where children, I would like to give you 3 aces which can uplift any composition that you write. And the 3 aces are on the screen. You must remember them. Teen ka tigada, as they say. We are Indians and we have to use a combination of Hindi and English to show our emotions. If you want that teen ka tigada, it is vocabulary, setting, and character. And how we use this, Falguni Miss, if you'd be kind enough to show me the Next screen, next slide, please.
Yes.
So, here, parents, I would like to draw your attention to a question that had come in the March 2020 board exam. A very simple question which I think most children have attempted. The question was, which part of the day do you like, do you enjoy? Describe it. Parents, I think, this question is something that a person can definitely put down their thoughts. But there can be two ways of putting down the thoughts. May I direct your attention to the first line of the evening setting. A child might just write, I love to gaze at the beautiful blue sky interspersed with colors. But a child who has aced his vocabulary, who has created ready reckoners, who has read a scrapbook, believe me, the same line, Falguni ma'am, will be something completely different.
Yes.
Falguni ma'am, if someone tells you this, Falguni, my heart truly dances as I watch the sun pouring its brilliant orange and red into the sky like a pot of molten lava. Does it create a visual for you, dear?
Absolutely. And it reflects that how the child has, really used the vocabulary and is in practice. Basically, it shows how well it is trained. The child is trained. So it's a beautiful line, Tejal. Very nice. It actually creates a scene.
But Falguni, don't think that this line is only useful because a pertinent or relevant question came. Today, children, any story you write, that action, reaction happens at a particular point of the day or night. So, in your Ready Reckoner, that hardbound book, create a part where you create such small paragraphs, 3-4 liners of sunshine, sunset, sunrise, evening, midday, so that you can just push it in your write-up, so that the teacher, though probably your plot might be weak, but it is the glamour of the words and vocabulary that will sway the examiner in your favor. Shubham sir, I'm sure as a teenager, you must have seen many movies where the glamour and glitz is the key, but the plot is completely nothing to talk about. Have you?
Yes, ma'am, definitely. We've also, bunked classes and bunked colleges. And we just, sometimes we only went for the glamour and not for the plot. In fact, we knew the plot would be boring, but we just went, we went only for the glamour. So yes, these words and the importance of vocabulary is very important. And all these words create a very strong impact on the viewer, on the
Absolutely. So, children, again,
reader, and they also of the language with the child.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you. So, children, in your Ready Reckoner, please create short paragraphs of different times of the day as well as weather. So, whether it is rainy day, or whether it is winter, summer, spring, so that you can definitely push it in your compositions. Now, if you had to suppose, let me just give you an example. If you had to write about an unusual guest, okay, and if the child writes that the bell rang, I opened the door, an old man entered. And instead of that, Falguni, if your student has written something like this, an old man wearing a traditional Gujarati attire walked into the room. His brown rubber shoes made a funny squeaking sound. In a friendly voice, he asked for my father as his wizened face broke into a toothy smile. Can you get the visual of my unusual guest, Falguni?
Absolutely. I can just visualize it in front of me, that how that person would be looking. Absolutely brilliant.
Right. So, Again, children, create along. Now you have made a ready reckoner of bulleted points of different essays. You made a ready reckoner of different parts of the day, times of the day and seasons. Third, just do a write-up, 4 paragraphs or 6 paragraphs of old man, old woman, young man, young woman, boy, girl. These are regular characters you use in your stories, which you can copy paste. Copy paste ka hi zamana hai. Copy paste. And it is your own imagination that will help you to pick up the right ingredients to pepper your essay. And now I
here they can in fact be inspired by their neighbors, their uncle, auntie. Some funny trait can be also incorporated, which will make it unusual, right?
Absolutely. So if such paragraphs have been created, it automatically connects them with different type of people whom they meet, and they can include in their essays. Now,
Tejal, Miss, I'd like to point out, because when you are making a character sketch, this becomes very important. And this, I'll be speaking about this in when I discuss literature, how characterization, because this is brought to my mind. The picture in front of you has brought to my mind a character in the literature textbook, the horse and two goats. So there is a character called Muni, and it reminds me of Muni. So when you are doing characterization and as you meet people, like today I have met Shubham sir, and I can see how glamorous, how suave and how chic he looks. Okay, so his elegant demeanor definitely impresses me. Shubham sir, we are using vocabulary to describe you. So I can see his gelled hair and I can see his smile, that blush on his face as we praise him. So definitely characterization, as you keep meeting people, you can always bring characterization into your mind, and wherever you are, you can carry that little ready reckoner with you where you can jot down points. And even I feel, Tejal Miss, I'd like to share, when we visit, we go on holidays with our parents, but how many of us come back home and write a short paragraph on that holiday, that beautiful, yes, the hill station that we have visited, what had been exciting over there, what are the scenery, how it touched my heart. So these can always be imbibed. And if I know any composition across any books, definitely test your creative ability. And it is something which stays with you even when you are appearing for your GMAT, your SAT exams. This helps, definitely.
absolutely. So again, I started off my talk with why to study English language. Of course, you will see that the toppers are those who have also crossed their 95s in language. But that is academic excellence, right, Falguni? Your science students, let me say, have to depend upon me and Moitri Mrs. Literature to get that
100%. 100% I agree with that.
Absolutely. So, of course, you not only get academic excellence, but children, tomorrow, when you step out into the world there, your impression stands from the words that you speak.
Yes, absolutely.
Leaves a lasting impression, right? You just using simple words is not going to help you, because the faces may be lost, but the words linger in the mind of people. And I would now like to take you to the third ace that will help even the safe option topics to come out brilliantly. The first one was setting, wherein we talked about the different parts of the day and weather. The second one was character. And the third one is vocabulary. Please remember this. Any topic under the sun that you write or any conversation that you have, there are basic 10 emotions that you use to convey the action, the reaction, the affection, anything. And that is happy, sad, surprised, scared, angry, beautiful, nervous, excited, laugh and cry. Children, if you have a little bit of a business mind, just note down three synonyms of these basic emotions and keep peppering the essay with these. Let me give you one last example, children. If I just want to mention, I was happy when I reached the beach. Instead of this, if I just say, my heart danced with delight when I saw the shimmering blue sea and the swaying palm trees. Shubham sir, do you feel like going to the beach?
Definitely, ma'am. In these lockdown situations, first of all, I'd like to, thank Moitri ma'am for such kind words. I'm very, flattered, I must say. Thank you so much. And yes, definitely, Tejal ma'am, I'd like to, head out to the beach and, swim in the ocean, open ocean, and enjoy all those things which we used to do before. But yeah, right now we were, stuck in our houses and we can't do anything. We can hope for the better.
But at least I can paint a picture with my words, Shubham sir.
Definitely, those vocabulary words which you're using are already, creating a very good scenery, or I must say, very good scenery in my mind, and I'm already enjoying the beautiful environment you have created here because of your vocabulary.
No, Tejal, I would like to tell you here that Shubham sir is thinking how to get the ready reckoner from Tejal Miss and how to get Harbour associated with
Exactly, ma'am. Yes, I was thinking that as well, but you mentioned it. Now I'll have to agree with you.
Right.
Yeah. So with this, I would like to come to an end of what one needs to do in language. Remember the tiara, character, setting, and vocabulary, and two more things: ready reckoner and scrapbook. ये 5 चीज, these 5 things will set you across. You will exactly imprint your palm on academic excellence. And with this, I now request my senior colleague, Moitri ma'am, to take us through the finesse of literature, the companion of language. Up to you, Moitri miss.
Thank you, Tejal Miss. A very good evening to all you parents and students out there who have gathered on this platform to lend us your ears. I am honored to be here and to guide you through the literature paper because we are co-sisters, language and literature, we go together, and in the ICSE exam, you cannot score marks without enhancing both the subjects. Thank you, Shubham sir. Yes, I have painted a beautiful character sketch of yours, and now you'll help me to take me through the entire process of literature paper. Now, literature paper, as Tejal Miss rightly described it, is a finesse. It is an art that you need to incorporate, you need to understand, incorporate, and then present it. And for that, I have, as you can see on the slide in front of you, I have created few very short but very important what pointers that can help you to achieve 100. Yes, in literature you can get full marks. There is definitely no fallacy attached to this, and I am very confident that many who are listening to me will look at their mothers, or the mothers may look at their children and say, oh, what is Miss saying? But yes, my dear students, you can score 100, and let me just lead you or guide you through the entire process. Now, as you can see, that literature is very fact-based, but it plays a very pivotal role in the English paper. Earlier, it used to be language and literature used to be combined, but being few years that the board has separated the language and literature paper in order to give a very in order to give importance to both the papers. And without language literature, Falguni Miss, scoring 100 is not enough in math. You need to score 100 in literature.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, yes. So
For the whole overall result,
yes,
we can't do without English.
yes. Many of you who are aiming for a 98, 99 need the support of the English language and literature paper. So you need to be, the first thing is that use of keywords. You need to be very factual, and for that, what I can say is that you need the 3 P's. It just came to my mind when I was thinking of what I should speak to you. The 3 P's are very important. And what are they? Now, to learn these keywords, you need to be perfect. That is your first P, perfection. The perfection then leads to practice. Practice leads to presentation. So there you have the 3 P's in the literature paper. And believe me, if you can correctly imbibe these 3 P's, you can get that 80 out of 80. Now, very, very important to know and understand the usage of keywords. Now, let me just give you an insight into this. The drama, Merchant of Venice, the Act 1, Scene 3. Now, Shylock makes a speech where he vents out his emotion against Antonio when he says that Antonio has insulted him at the Rialto. Antonio has called him a misbeliever. He has called him a cutthroat dog. He has spat on his Jewish gabardine. Now, when I teach, I ensure that my children must have, this is a pen, but they must have the pencil ready in their hand because they need to underline these keywords. I tell them, and I tell all students, that as you are doing stanza-wise explanation of drama, you make a note of these keywords. You remember that Antonio has insulted Shylock. He has called him a misbeliever. He has spat on his Jewish gabardine, and he has kicked him like a cur over the threshold of his house. Now, when you have understood this and you have created these keywords, children, it becomes very, very easy for you to understand and to memorize and to remember the facts that are definitely present in Merchant of Venice.
Moitri Miss, I just want to, when you're saying memorize, I'm telling you, it has already raised the antennas of many kids. I'll tell you why. Because this myth that you need to know the Merchant of Venice back to back, matlab Bhagavad Gita, you don't know is fine. Bible, you don't know. I mean, of course, the way the pressure is on this, that Merchant of Venice needs to be back to back. Otherwise, you will not be able to score in literature. Please, Moitri ma'am, I think the students need to understand the reality up here. Please.
Yes, miss. And I was just coming to that fact that students have often asked me, we should learn Merchant of Venice. We should learn poems. We should learn short stories. Children, it is a myth. Verbatim learning is not required. You can write, instead of a misbeliever, you can write non-believer. You can just, like he has treated him like a dog, you can just say the word kicked is very easy. You can just say he has kicked him like a dog out of the threshold of his house. He has thrown him out of his house. He has spat on his beard. Now, you are using the textual language. you are writing in your own words, and you are definitely getting your marks. In literature, the examiner will not look at your creativity. This is not the language paper. Language enhances your creativity. Literature are mere knowledge of your textbook, and that can be very well developed by learning the keywords. Now, I have picked up something which Tejal missed just now. I mean, I was listening to her and I suddenly had this idea, which I'm definitely going to put forth when I go back to school, when I teach my children. And I am telling all the students over here, she has created something called as Ready Reckoner. Why language only? Create a ready reckoner in English literature. Isn't it, Tejal Miss? Can it happen?
Absolutely, Miss.
Right. So we can create a ready reckoner. Children, Act 1, Scene 1, Antonio's speech, 4 lines. And what are the keywords that he has spoken? He's it varies, he's sad, it varies him, it varies his friend. They are tired of his sadness. He does not know from where he got this sadness. He does not know the cause of his sadness. Therefore, it tires him as well as tires his friend. So we have the keywords written down in your ready reckoner, and it has been beautifully created act wise, scene wise. So you are in sync with the text. You have your textual knowledge, you have created your ready reckoner, you have highlighted your points, and children, you just need to revise those ready reckoners. You don't have to go on blah, 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 learning the textbook by heart. Please do not do that. You read the textbook 5 to 8 times, make notes of the entire textbook. If you have notes with you, read them, or else nothing is impossible. Make notes. Falguni Miss, can just like science, can't we make notes in literature, create a notes out of it, where the exact words can be picked up and put, or maybe a simple word of that particular language can be put, and the children can write it. We can make notes. Yes. So Falguni Miss has agreed, because if you are making notes in your science, in your bio paper, in your chemistry paper, then definitely why not in your literature paper? Shubham sir, so how was, I don't know if you have learned Merchant of Venice. So at some point you can add over here, how was your experience in the literature classroom when you were in school? Tell me that.
The experience, to be very honest, was quite boring, ma'am.
Okay.
We did not have such great teachers like you speakers right now. We did not have such an English teacher who used to tell us to make a ready reckoner or tips like that. So we used to have very point plain sessions, like the teacher is reciting the literature story or the poem, and we are usually listening it, and she usually just asks any child to stand up and explain the meaning of this or that to usually catch her attention or not. But yes, certainly if we used to read the literature on our own, we used to get a better experience. And in my time, there was this novel of The Hound of Baskerville.
Oh yes. Yes.
So it is a really
Sherlock
great
Holmes.
novel.
Yes.
Yeah, and I personally like Sherlock Holmes, and because it was all involved with mystery and thrill and suspense, and so we used to discuss about the story, and we used to also watch the movie. There's also a movie on the same topic.
Yes.
So yes, if literature taught in the right way can be very interesting, and if taught in the wrong way can be very boring as well.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Now you have made something which I would like to just mention this. What sir spoke is very, very correct. Children wish, if you see something, you imbibe it, remember. So definitely to all parents, now this is the lockdown time, I would say, why don't you all watch Merchant of Venice all together as a family, sit together and watch the play. There are beautiful, British Council has created many plays, And let me tell you, this is the online time. So the British theatre houses are, I mean, their plays are all online, and you can go and search, and all of you can watch the play Merchant of Venice. Students, when you watch that, won't it create a beautiful impression, Tejal Miss, if you
In
watch
fact,
something?
I was just saying, Moitri ma'am, just imagine the child is watching the play, and along with that, he's holding his probably book, and he's saying the dialogue with the actor.
Exactly.
He will not require to learn by heart.
Exactly.
Brilliant method of learning it up, I think.
Exactly. I have seen children thrilled. I mean, when I show them in the classroom the play, teacher, I remember these lines, and there they keep on speaking because they have been able to. So as you study your textbook, children, please remember, and to all parents, we teachers may not have the platform to show the children the Merchant of Venice play, but you can be their teacher, and one day have a family time when all of you sit and watch. And let me tell you, it may not be in the Shakespeare language. You can have the play where it is very simplified English, where Dada, Dadi, Nana, Nani, Bua, Chachi can all come together and watch a Merchant of Venice evening. So that is what, and definitely the keywords will be imbibed, learning will happen perfectly. And the next part, that very important part that you can understand, you will be able to analyze character. Tejal Miss has created a character of a traditional old man in a Gujarati attire. Now let me tell you how your character can be beautifully described. Very simple. Your vocabulary will help you through that character sketch. Now in the drama Merchant of Venice, I shall say Shylock is cunning, he's crafty, he's bloodthirsty, he is fanatical, he's cunning. Similarly, I shall say Antonio is selfless, he is generous, he is admired by all and everyone, a true and loved friend of Bassanio, willing to sacrifice his heart and soul for his friend. I have not used difficult language. Am I? Yes, Tejal Miss?
Yeah, Moitri Miss, I just want to add on to my ready reckoner list that apart from the parts of the weather and different characters as well as different words, definitely the positive and negative traits. Miss, I think, in fact, before the literature exam, they should know the positive, negative traits of all characters so that they can easily analyze them, and the words that you use, selfless, etc., will give that color to the writing.
Yes. So the 4-mark question, which is a reflective question, where you do not need any kind of preparation, children, will come from your analyzation of the character. So you need, as you are going through the play, you need to write. Children, you don't need difficult language. No, please do not think of using difficult language in the literature paper. Use very, very simple language. Try to make it come out from the bottom of your heart. I find Shylock to be very cunning. So you write the word cunning. These are 4 adjectives you need to know. Shylock is very sly. Oh, I think Portia is loving. She loves her husband Bassanio. And there, in very simple English, you have created a character sketch, and which, remember children, you can get 4 out of 4 in that particular section. Now going on to prose and poetry. Now let me give you one short example of the poem Daffodils. Tejal Miss has just shown us when she was doing evening, she said, my heart dances. Now Tejal Miss, many children in their composition, I was correcting few compositions the other day on this topic, they have written, it was evening, I was looking down from my terrace, and I could see the flowers dancing in the breeze. Now, from where did they get the word dancing in the breeze? Children, it came from the poem Daffodils. Wordsworth saw the daffodils and he was ecstatic. His heart started dancing with the daffodils. Okay, Shubham sir. So the Hound of Baskervilles is a very, very, I can say a very intense book. So definitely, when you read such intense books and intense character, doesn't it come to your mind, sir? And don't you use it sometimes? Some words, some lines from that textbook, if you remember it, you can quote it somewhere in the course of your, talk that you have. Shivam, sir?
Yes, definitely, ma'am. Like one sec.
Okay, so I just move
Yes,
forward.
yes, definitely,
Yes,
ma'am. If there is scene in any novel, yeah, yes, ma'am. Am I audible now?
yes, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. So in any novel or in any story, if there is a setup of a scene or a setup of a play that basically is very involving or is very interesting, we usually do remember the words and the
Yes,
literature of that particular scene. So
yes.
like I've read this novel, and then there were none by Agatha Christie, and it's a very
Oh,
good novel. Yeah.
yes,
So I remember that rhyme, that complete rhyme, that six little soldiers went to the
there.
yeah, and then one was left and one got
Okay,
then left five. Yeah,
great.
so that, yeah, that novel is very good, and I remember the rhyme as well. And that is only because it left an impact on my mind in such a way that it is still there in
Great.
my mind.
Great. Thank you, sir. So you have made it very, very easy for me. Now, children, so if sir, as a young man, he remembers what he had studied in the 9th and 10th, it is because of his thorough reading of the textbook. Learn perfectly. So achieve the P, perfection. Next, we come to the prose and poetry section. So where can your perfection lead you to? Presentation. And how can you present? Students, prose and poetry entails something called as central idea and theme. And let me tell you, that is very, very important. Like, let me take the example of the poem Cold Within, a very, very metaphorical poem. You may not remember my word, but your teacher may have taught you the word metaphorical, so you will remember it. Now, when your teacher is teaching you in the classroom, those are the notes. Write it down. What does cold within mean? The coldness that lie inside our heart. That is cold within. So the 6 human beings died not of the cold outside, but the cold inside their heart, our jealousy, our greed, our prejudices, our bigotry. These are our discrimination. These are our cold within. So definitely a topic like Little Match Girl, which has symbolisms in it. What does the Christmas tree symbolize for the poor little girl? Celebration, a time to celebrate, a time when she has lost her home. She has no home to go back to. She is remembering her grandmother. So the Christmas tree symbolizes celebration. Death comes to her, but she happily accepts death. Children, these are things you need to understand when you are doing a poetry or a prose chapter. So apart from giving it a reading, I am not saying you learn it verbatim. It is a myth. But definitely, if you can read through your physics textbook or your bio textbook, Falguni Miss, then definitely you can read through your prose and poetry. Falguni Miss, don't you think perfection is required? Miss, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Yes. Before Falguni Miss unmutes, before Falguni starts off, after the onslaught of language and literature, I'm telling her she's going to start with friends, Romans, countrymen.
Countrymen, lend me your ears.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Moitri Miss, you have nailed it. That perfection in, learning, perfection, practice in learning is very, very essential. Perfect, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Now, In order to achieve, as I said, perfection, practice, and presentation, let me take you to the next slide. That will, how can you achieve that? A very, very systematic method of doing it. Falguni Miss, can I have the next slide?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so here is the slide I have presented. I have made it both for the 9th and 10th, but 10th graders are more important because they are preparing themselves for the board exam. So children and students over here, let me take you through this slide. This slide, it gives you a very, very clear insight as to how you should go about your preparation. It is not difficult to achieve the 3 Ps. Look at this. In the month of March, you're going to do Act 3, Scene 2. The longest scene, the most difficult scene, Bassanio's casket scene. And you have to just do 1 poetry and 1 prose. So you may take an easier poem like, let's say, 9 gold medals, or you can do an easy chapter, let's say Little Match Girl. And so you have an entire month of March. Falguni Miss will be showing you the schedule a little later when she explained it, but the entire month of March to revise and achieve that perfection of Act 3, Scene 2. You have perfected it. Once you have perfected it, go on to solving papers. You just do few papers or few questions on Act 3, Scene 2. Do self-correction. Self-correction is a kind of self-check. You will understand, okay, I have missed out this point. I need to focus on these points and redo them. Similarly, Act 4 in the month of April with 2 prose and 2 poetry. Now, Act 4 can be done over April and May because that is the trial scene. And trial scene, we all teachers say, is very, very important from the board point of view. It is very important because the questions on trial scene can come and they can come every year. So you should not leave the trial scene out at all. So you have prepared with 2 prose and 2 poetry. In the month of June, you have done Act 5, a relatively easier scene, which is the ring scene. And you have collaborated with 1 prose and 1 poetry. Now, in this way, you go back and re-revise your 9th standard portion until you reach the first terminal exam. Children, the first terminal exam will give you the platform to understand where you have reached. Doesn't matter, you may score little less, but you still have October, November, December, January to fine-tune yourself. And that can be done with integrated test series with a lot of practice. Okay, apart from the prelim papers, practice and present till you, as Tejal Miss says, ace the board. Right, Tejal Miss? The 3, yes, ace the board, and truly, children, you will be doing wonders. It is not achievable. Between the ordinary and the extraordinary, there is that word extra. And that extra can give you that extra edge. So all the, yes.
Yes, miss. I think you have, given a sum total of understanding, that how language and literature go hand in hand. And
Yes.
When you're saying perfection presentation, it just reminds me of one person, and that is Falguni ma'am, to take us through the core subject of
Yes.
maths and science, because she is the queen of perfection.
Perfection, epitome of perfection, yes.
Please, Falguni ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, Miss, may I now change this?
Yes, please, go ahead. Thank you.
Very good evening, everyone. Moitri Miss, a wonderful, fantastic detailing done. The month-wise plans, the point that you have mentioned, I'm sure it's going to really help everyone to attack their English literature paper and get a full 100. So parents, students, we are going to start today the preparation for math and science. So when I talk of mathematics, there are so many questions in your mind. I make silly errors. I was just going to write this and I don't know how I wrote. Instead of 6, I wrote 2. Those silly errors are too many. Multiplication, 2 into 2 sometimes becomes 6. So these are the problems which normally math students face, okay? If you want to score a full 100, your day, your week, your month, everything has to be properly planned. Planned with what? So first and foremost, perfect presentation, as what Moitri Miss had inculcated this in literature. So we have the same thing in mathematics. First is perfect presentation. Now, what is the meaning of perfect presentation? There is no overwriting. There is no cancellation. All your equal to's are one below the other. There is a rough column. You are supposed to do all your calculations in the rough column. Now, why should you do this good presentation? So you do not know in the board exam where your papers are going to go. Whether it is going to go in West Bengal, in South India, in North India, we don't know. Who is going to get your paper for correction? For that person, you are just that number, that roll number, isn't it? They do not know you. So your paper is your face. So please see to it that it has to be very, very, very perfect. So
Falguni Miss,
yes.
Falguni Miss, this is a very, very vital point that you have mentioned. Thanks for mentioning this, that your face is your paper. Because the examiner doesn't look at the name of the student. She just takes the paper, flips through it and starts correcting. For her, faceless. Very, 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 very important point.
Thank you. So perfect presentation is the key. So when in your face you are presenting to the corrector, it should be flawless. That is one thing you should imbibe in your head. Now, the perfect presentation will come as a habit when you are going to do regular practice of 5 sums. Now, what is the meaning of the word regular practice? So regular practice is a daily practice or minimum 4 times a week. So if you don't have the time to do every single day, so all 7 days of the week, but please make it at least 4 times a week. So now what do you do in that practice? So the most important part in the practice is you have to be cool, you have to be relaxed, and you have to do 5 sums. So now you're going to tell me, why only 5 sums? There would be parents over here saying, what nonsense you're talking, just 5 sums? Yes, parents. The quantity is not important. Quantity is absolutely not important, I reiterate here. I have had so many students in my career, there was a classic example where a child had solved 150 papers, literally we had gone mad correcting the papers, and literally I had to tell him, now please stop writing, you are definitely going to win the whole thing. But no, he got stuck at 95 or 96. It is not the quantity, but there was a child who had written only 15 papers in a year, but systematically, perfectly, with proper presentation, no doing cancellations and no doing mental calculations. Do the calculation in your rough column. You know why? Because sometimes by doing a mental calculation, you may miss out on those tiny details. So if you are in the habit of doing perfect presentation, if you are doing relaxed practice of just 5 sums in a day, you don't need anything more than this. But if you're going to practice roughly and just get the answer. Now, this does not get you a full mark. Suppose if your answer is of 4 marks and you have done it roughly, got the answer, you have skipped the formula, you have skipped proper substitution, or you have skipped proper steps, you are going to end up by getting a 3 instead of a 4. So it is now up to you whether you are okay with just getting those, losing those half marks and 1 mark, or you want a full. That is your choice. So once you decide that, yes, I want to get full marks, then regular practice, perfect presentation. Do little, but do perfect. Why do we make a rough column on that page? Why don't we do all the rough work at the last? But no, rough work should be done in the rough work column. The importance is very, very clear. Number 1, when you are doing rough work on the same page, you are eliminating the error of turning the page and copying wrong number. Suppose if you're doing, say, some big multiplication or division on the last page, and when you flipped the page and you copied, you made 1 digit, that copying thing wrong. In that case, your entire sum will become wrong. So make the point. Yes, Miss.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I have seen children, what you say is very pertinent, because children have missed questions when they have flipped page.
Yes.
So, yes, they have missed questions. So the entire, maybe a part of the question has gone away because you have flipped the page, and you have, means that carry forward has not happened. So what you are making is a very relevant point.
Absolutely, Miss.
Falguni Miss, I also want you to, in fact, speak to the children about, there could be a understanding in the children's mind that rough work has to be done on the back page. So I would like you to reiterate that this is allowed, there are no marks cut, because even Moitri ma'am, for compositions, mind map, something that the children believe that you can't write down, mind maps are something that is allowed, and if you make that, the teacher, the examiner knows that there is some logical thought process. So like that, Falguni ma'am, if you could just throw light on this, that it is, where will be the exact rough column, index? I'm sure that then the perfect presentation will really come to their mind well.
Absolutely, Tejal ma'am, that was the right point brought up over here. So, you have 1 printed column already in your board exam paper. But that column is for marks. You can't write over there. You can't enter over there. So before that, you will have to still make 1, a line, a vertical line, which becomes your rough column. And that's the place where you do your calculation. So this, saves you from those silly errors of copying and, while copying the mistakes that you do, right? So a perfect presentation, a regular practice. Now, the most important part is correction. So children, whenever you appear for any test, whether it is a unit test, whether it is your terms, whether it is your tuition test, whether it is school test, any test, most important focus have to be, where did I lose my mark and why? So even if it's a half mark, do that correction systematically and preserve it. So you know that whenever I'm doing my correction, I am correcting my errors in my subconscious mind. So when we write the 2.5-hour paper, if you have done the correction, it will automatically come in front of you that, oh, yes, you can't do like this. You follow? So corrections are very important. Perfect presentation is very important, and regular practice. Children, if these 3 things are imbibed as a habit, there is nothing that can stop you from getting a full 100, right? Of course, the books that you refer are concise. You have your, ML Agarwal and all those textbooks are there. But how you put it and how you solve, and your notebook has to be your major key, right? So now with this, we are going to go to the second part, that is science. Coming to the most important 3 science, and that's including physics, chemistry, and biology. So all those of you who wants to take pictures of the slides, you may do so. I forgot to mention that earlier. So you can take pictures of the slide, and later on Shubham sir from Harbour Press have told us that they will share the link also of the document, so no worries. So children, when we come to science, there is one very important thing that comes in your mind. I cannot do by heart. I cannot learn word to word, right? Isn't that the question in everybody's mind? So today I'm going to demonstrate to you what science is all about, okay? So now I'm going to shift the camera a little bit and you can see the door behind me, okay? Now I am going to do an action and I want you all to tell me what I did, okay?
So, Falguni miss, according to me, you're touching the wall and moving towards the door. What about you, Moitri miss? What are you?
Yes, even she's reaching out for something and she has come back. So she has followed a pattern.
Yeah.
Shubham, would you like to share something? What did I
Yes,
do?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. According to me, you reached out for the door with your right hand and then you take it back.
Right. So we have got 3 inputs over here from Tejal ma'am, Moitri ma'am, and Shubham sir. Now, parents and children, I'm going to tell you exactly what I did. Okay, so I'm just going to say and redo that part. So I raise my hand to shoulder level, parallel to the floor, went a little behind, eyes fixed on the camera. I went towards the door, touching the brown frame, keeping my eyes fixed on the camera, and I came back in the same path, keeping my hand parallel. So this is science.
Falguni miss, in spite of being a creative writing teacher, I could not express that action well, as concisely and precisely, may I say, that you put in the actions in words.
Right. So yes, Tejal miss, you know what happens? Basically, you know, if you are precise, if you are perfect, it is not by heart. It is describing as it is. So get that word out of your mind that I have to do by-hearting and by-hearting. It is learning word to word, which means you are describing the exact situation, the exact action. So learning word to word is a must, must, and must. There is no choice. If you change any word, you are not describing the correct situation or you are changing the meaning. So in either cases, you are going to get a 0. Okay, so learning word to word. Now this question should not come, children. Should I learn word to word? I changed one word. I used my language. These things should not come up at all, okay? Coming to the second most important point, which is learn in bullet point. What is the meaning of learn in bullet point? Whenever you are learning science, make it a point to learn as 1, 2, 3. No big paragraphs. Nobody has the time to read your long stories. It has to be crisp, to the point, and 1, 2, 3. Just get those 3, 4 points registered in the head, hammer it perfectly well, and when you write that on the paper, that's how you stand out in the crowd. Fine? So learn word to word, learn in the bullet point. The third one, again, same as what we do for math. The corrections are very important. So why do you think corrections are important? That small word that key word which you missed out, the spelling that you missed out. Though in biology for spellings, for physics and chemistry for spellings, they do not cut marks. But biology, yes, because it's just one word. So you have to write the correct spelling. Coming to, that correct terminologies. So these corrections are very important. Where did I miss out? On which word did I miss out? If you write it in another ink as soon as you receive the paper, file your papers. Before the exam, go over those mistakes that yes, I had learned my work, but these are the areas where I missed out. You follow? So these are the three core things which are for physics, chemistry, and biology. Learn word to word, learn in bullet points, and do the corrections.
Falguni Miss, when you're saying corrections, there is a vision that is coming in front of my eyes, that how my mother used to run behind me with a sheet of paper with all my chemical formulas written on it. And the mistakes that I made in the maths formulas, even while entering the lift, she's screaming x plus y is equal to z, etc., So I think Falguni Miss, when you're saying the corrections, so while doing the corrections, if they have noted down that these are my areas of fault, by getting the corrected papers back home and knowing that there's, okay, you got 15 out of 20, but not seeing where did the 5 marks go, it is serving no purpose. So it is actually the corrections that need more importance than anything else. So I'm glad you put it up in big, bold letters up here.
Yes, I perfectly agree, Miss, because I have seen children, when we return back the corrected papers, it is dumped in their bag and it never comes out. Parents don't know whether the teacher has returned back the paper corrected, and it is lying in their bag, inside their bag, in a very crumpled form, and then discarded someday. So corrections must be noted. When you correct, that is where you are taking a step forward and achieving that perfection which Falguni Miss is talking about. Very true, very true.
Yes, Moitri Miss, absolutely. Tejal, yes, you also nailed it, that corrections are really important. So now we are going to start on each individual subject. So coming to physics, the most horrendous word which comes to every child's mind is there is a lot of application. Children, tell me something. If application is not there, if applications were really not done, do you think today we would have been able to enjoy these gadgets, this lifestyle or anything? So here, for application, I'm going to tell you most important, only your camera, your focus is wrong. If you tell me that applications are difficult and paper is very applicative. Now let's do one simple demo over here, okay? So let us say this is not a lockdown time. So just for a while, assume that this is not our lockdown time. We have Shubham sir who has gone for a marathon, okay? And he has gone for a 2.5 hour walk. He has done fantastically, phenomenally well. He's very tired. He comes back home. He's sitting in his wonderful room, his home theater. There is a red lounge. There is a 96-inch screen in front of him. On the right side, there is a free flow of popcorn, and on the left side, it is his Pepsi or Thumbs Up or any cola that he really loves. Now he is relaxing, he's enjoying. His mother comes out. Shubham, son, please get bread from down. Mom, what the hell is going on? I went for the marathon. I almost won the match. After walking so much, you are telling me to go down and get a bread? What is this? Can't you just tell me yesterday you don't plan your meals, you just want to see me and tell me work? All right, son, it's okay. She says, I'll do without the bread. She goes away. You know, children, what happens over here? A very fantastic story unfolds. Ting, ting, ting. There is a phone call. Hello, I'm waiting down. Shubham sir forgot his pain. The legs were not aching. He was on the 12th floor. He did not wait for the lift. He ran down the staircase because his princess was down, right?
Hope his mother and his
Oh my
girlfriend
God,
are listening.
Shubham sir, I can imagine
Hope his
this.
mother and girlfriend are listening.
I swear.
I'm also, ma'am, enjoying it by, imagining it in the same way as you are describing it. Please
Exactly.
continue.
Yeah.
See now how a science teacher will decipher this and see how the reactions were of an English teacher. We are going to see the difference now. So children, we are going to look at actually this whole thing in light of physics. When Shubham sir was walking marathon, he had lost his energy. Energy had decreased. When he comes home, he relaxes, he's gaining energy. When the mother comes out and requests him to get a bread, mother is the external force, not really large enough to cause any displacement in Shubham sir. But there was one non-contact force, and that was so huge that he displaced from his red lounge straight on the ground floor. The 12 floors meant nothing. Children, this is physics. Physics is something to love. Physics is life. It is just that you have to change your focus for physics. You cannot do physics just in the textbook. Physics is all around us. This is application, right? So children, parents, make it a point to have physics everywhere around. Have an eye to look at that. You follow? It's just changing the perception. Do you agree with me, Moitri Miss?
Yes, totally agree. And I would like to say this, language has come into play over here because we have to understand the reactions of Shubham sir as he comes back from his marathon, relaxes and then jumps up and then runs 12 floors. So physics with language. If you don't know language, you cannot understand that energy and force and contact of physics. Great. Excellent demonstration.
Thank you.
Miss, I want to learn physics now. After
Yes. Yes, keeping Shubham sir in mind. Yes.
So now you know why my children get 100 in physics. Yes, Shubham sir, I hope you've enjoyed this example.
Yes, definitely, ma'am. I'd like to, repeat my 11th and 12th by, opting for science and having a more interest in this physics background. And definitely, I would have also aimed for IITs and those premium institutes if we would have been exposed to teachers like you, ma'am. Amazing, ma'am. Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much, dear. So children, the most important thing out here is physics is completely applicative, and please enjoy each application. Run your mind wild. Look at all the examples around you. Don't be restricted just to the textbook. Do a lot of reading. Do a lot of, YouTubes. You have got a lot of videos on physics. You must make it a point to go through them. The most important second part now is practice numericals. So numericals are again those stumbling blocks. Why we call them those stumbling blocks? Because again, those phobia for maths is just carried forward to physics numericals. So no, children, what you have to do is weekly make one slot for physics. Practice the numericals. It is difficult, fine. So increase your practice time. Why will it remain difficult? You follow. So it is just that because you have not repeated it, you find it difficult. Something which you start doing it, there is no difficulty level at all, right? So practice numericals weekly. And the last part, which is very essential, where most of you lose the marks. You do the calculations, but you just forget to write the units. There is match the column and you forgot which unit it is because there is so many overlapping units what we have in derived units specifically. You have to be careful as to seconds is raised to -2 or -3, etc. So when we talk of this, remember that whenever you are doing physics, numericals, you have to do the quantities along with it. So don't forget these small nitty-gritties of physics, these small action plans, which will change your life and love for physics. Coming to chemistry, something very, very common. Everybody says, I can't remember equations. Equations are where I lose my marks. Equations are something which is dreadful. No, children, absolutely a myth. When you're talking of equations, remember, do your entire chemistry with metal activity series. Now, your metal activity series has to be on the tip of your tongue. Remember, the first 2 or 3 metals which are highly reactive, the lower ones which are non-reactive, and the middle ones which are medium reactive. Each one, if you categorize, then you very well know. If you add acid, what comes out? So if you know them according to their reactions, there are only 3 things: highly reactive, medium reactive, slow reactive, or non-reactives, right? If you know that you have to add this and you get this, that is A and B, there is nothing different in that. So balancing, you should never by heart. What you should do is remember the technique and the principle. What you are adding, acid when it is added. For an example, I'm showing you. If acid is added to any metals, it will only give you salt and hydrogen. There is nothing it can give us. So whether I do with aluminium, whether I do with copper, whether I do it with your, sorry, not copper because it's below the metal activity series, whether I do it with sodium, whether I do it with zinc, whether I do it with magnesium, it's going to be salt and hydrogen only. If you're taking any oxide, you are adding acid, you have only 2 things to come out: salt and water. What else is there? And where are all the exceptions? They are just for those concentrated acids. Dilute acid has hardly any exception. So if you know your rules, there is no way that equations can be tortured. Balancing, you should do it at that time. See to it that left side, all the atoms are equal to the right side. That will not take a long time. You follow, children? So equations are not burdensome. Keep practicing as usual what we do for maths and physics. Then the place where you lose marks are 2 places. One, the colors. So, you know, if you identify the colors perfectly well, if you understand that this color is for this cation, you can pick the hint very easily. And second, when you're giving differences, you have to mention the special test. So if I say that I'm heating a carbonate, obviously a carbonate is going to give us carbon dioxide, but I can't leave it there. I have to say it's a colorless gas, carbon dioxide, which turns lime water milky and has no effect on K2CR207 or KMNO4. This is complete. So add your special test, learn the colors, and know the principles and techniques of your equations. You can never go wrong in chemistry, right? So I hope that made sense. Tejal Miss, did you understand? As an English teacher, do I make proper sense with this?
Yeah, actually, you know, Falguni, I was just wondering that, you know, if we can get our basics right, our fundamentals right, and we put it down, and then, you know, using that fundamentals, take the road ahead. So automatically, why will there be any mistake? You know, there's a lot of clarity, because again, we have these very 2 important things, that remember color changes and remember the tests of gases. So keeping these 3 things in mind, I think chemistry should not be an issue. But for biology, where the diagrams are coming in there, the artist in me cries. So please explain up here.
No, Tejal Miss, you don't need to be an artist at all. So here I'm going to show you how to make biology one of the simplest things.
Really?
First, yes, Miss, sorry, you said something?
No, really, it's going to be simple. I'm waiting to hear.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, I want to tell you here that God has made living bodies. So how do they work? You know, you have to just first understand this process. Plants and animals, they are living machineries. Plant is a machine which makes glucose, our food. So God has given these tiny machines all over and all around us, which does not work on any electricity. It gives you food, fuel. Animals, they are also a machinery. You know how? They are a beautiful machinery. They have this, eyes which catch the light rays, the ears which catch the sound waves. They have the brain which is interpreting, and they have these actions. It is a totally automated machine that God has made. It's so beautiful. Now in biology, to score full, it is extremely simple. So where do you look at to score full? Number one, there are diagrams as Tejal Mehta spheres, but yes, diagrams for drawing are very few. All this last 60 years from ICSE board, we have received only and only 25 diagrams, okay, where you have to practice for drawing. And they are small, they are easily done. You need not be really an artist, but if you're able to mark the correct, the labelings and everything, it's just fine. But your most important skill is in labeling and identifying. You will get a diagrammatic question. So there you have to label it correctly and identify those labels. So to label it correctly, you need to identify. Now the problem is, if you identify that part wrong, then the questions that follow on that part, you will get a 0. So your identification has to be perfect. So even if you are not an artist, does not matter. You will have a lot of choice in the paper. You just need to be a good observer, a good identifier. And if you have identified the part correctly, there is absolutely no way that you can go wrong in biology. And the second important thing in biology is the terminology. For example, ventricle. You must have heard ventricle. So ventricle is in the brain also, in the heart also. So which ventricle they are talking about? That is where you have to be very careful. There is a word called carpel. Now there is one with EL and one with AL. One is in the flower, one is in the bone. So these words, if you are, concentrated and you are concentrating and you are learning properly, there is no way that you can go wrong in biology, right? So to sum up the entire science, you need to learn word to word. That is a must. You need to learn in bullet points. You need to do your corrections. You need to have a fantastic observation for applicative questions in physics. They are not difficult. It is just that we are not looking at them correctly. Practice your numericals, learn the units, practice equations, learn the colors with the special test, and learn your diagram labeling and correct terminologies, right, children? So science can never go wrong with anybody. And to score 100 is only a matter of forming a habit to be regular, right? So with this, I'm going to end the science portion, and now I'm going to call, sorry, I have to still tell you one thing here, that if you want all these small points that I have told you as ready in your hands and in the plate. So these are the books which I have authored for Harbour Press International, where you can see we have physics key point, biology key point, and chemistry key point, where I have done everything in a pointer format. There are no paragraphs in the book. Every keyword has been included, and you don't need to look any further than this. After you have learned your key points, we have your physics, maths, biology, chemistry checkpoint, where there are papers where you can keep on practicing and becoming a perfectionist. So lots of papers for you to practice. And at the end, we have this middle thing here. You can see final revision papers. These final revision papers is a mock board exam. And if you see the website of Harbour Press International, you will see that every year, approximately 98% of the board papers come from these books. So all of you, this is highly recommended, and see to it that you get your copies today, right? Yes, Shubham sir, do you agree with this?
Yes, definitely, ma'am. Each of these titles can be individually ordered from multiple e-commerce sites like Amazon and Flipkart. And these books and these resources will definitely help the children in getting good marks, as told by Falguni ma'am as well.
Right.
Really,
So
I would
now,
just like to chime in here, Falguni, because I consider that, Harbour Press has sort of, pulled in the right person to write this. I tell you, today, when books are written by teachers who've been in direct contact with students, their notes, actually form the basis of knowledge. And when a publication like Harbour Press, compiles it together systematically to aid the teacher, I think it's going to definitely benefit the student. Because as Falguni said, what interested me, Falguni, you said that it is not in paragraphs, in bullets. I think that itself cuts down a lot of stuff which I don't need to read, or, which I don't need to retain. Everything that I need to retain is in bullets. So I'm glad. Someday I do it with English. Moitri miss?
yes. Absolutely.
We will break it down, yes, to bullet points. That's very, very essential.
So here I would like to thank Harbour Press for giving me this platform to pen down my 30 years of experience into these books. Thank you. Now I will take you through the last slide of timetable, where we are giving you these slides as a document also after the webinar. So if you want, you can click the pictures, or you will get the link from Harbour Press. So here, children, most important thing is your plans, monthly plan. Break it up into small bricks. Small bricks are very easy to make your wall strong of foundation. So break your chapters. For example, in physics, if you have 12 chapters, and if you're doing two chapters a month, so that is not going to be burdensome at all. So here, this is something which I do with my children. So I'm sharing it over here, that break up all and do little work every month. You will be able to finish the portion on 31st August, and you can start with your paper writing practice right from September onwards after your term exam. So somewhere around end of September, and you can plan it out like this. So children, this is all from math and science today that I have to tell you. Now that all the timetables and all are set in mind, the next question is, how do we achieve all this? So children, Tejal Miss will now take us through 3 simple solutions. Yes, Tejal Miss, all yours now.
Thank you so much, dear. May I have the slide, please? Yes. So parents, I'm sure the hunger pangs in your stomach are, calling you towards the kitchen. But we are in a last few minutes of our webinar today, which actually contain the crux of our entire presentation. Parents, 3 things that I would like you to run through. First and foremost, I know that, we make plans, right? But how much are they successful? Parents, up here, I had mentioned the word homeschooling in the very start. If you can remind your child that they are saving on traveling time, and let's take this opportunity to make a success of an academic journey. Parents, coax your child with powerful and encouraging words that I want to support you, and so let's make a plan together. And that way, make that entire plan of your day, your month, your year. And after that, what is very important while making this plan is the areas where the time has been wasted. And I'm sure the parents who are watching now are looking at the kid, because the only place that really wastes the time are your cell phones, your Netflix, because once you get into that enchanting place, it's very difficult to pull yourself out. Of course, children, parents, you will notice children are imbued, are engrossed in them. I really request parents, do not comment, do not instruct, do not advise, do not tell that please stop, please you're wasting your time. I have a better solution for you parents. What you do is that the daily plan is written in a log book, wherein the time schedule is on one side, while on the top is the days of the week and month. At the end of the day, parents, just sit with your child and ask him to tick mark all that he's done and cross out what has been not done. If there are 10 items on the left hand side, agenda to be done, ask him to note down below the number of ticks out of 10 and the number of crosses out of 10. And don't say a word. I guarantee you parents, the guilt feeling seeps in. However, uninterested a child is, they do not like that cross. Believe me, by the end of the week, they will be able to strike a balance between their Netflix session and their studies, because none of them like those crosses. And slowly and steadily, that logbook parents will really help you to cut down without creating that negative between you and your child, where you are always like, what may I say? Always behind his back. What is he doing? Where is he wasting?
Miss kind of watchdog. We don't want to create watchdogs. We want to create the healthy relationship where, as you rightly said, there should be a recreation time and a family time is a must. So every child should get time. And no parent should stop the child if you play cricket in your hall. Shubham sir, isn't it interesting to play cricket inside the hall? You take a bat and a ball and keep playing cricket with the time pass, or a football. Okay, now since you cannot go down online and locked out.
Yeah, definitely, ma'am. It is quite interesting. It is quite relaxing, but it is also quite risky as well.
Yes.
For all the family members and for all the furniture and the electronic items as well.
And so doesn't matter. But
what we might plan as a relaxing time might become your big bomb if something breaks. And
the mummy drops mummy comes then it with
even again displays himself and run down the 12 floors.
You can always escape down the 12 floors.
So let me just get you back to the log book, that in the log book you'll get your crosses and your ticks, and at the end of the day you will get a to-do list in his mind, what he needs, how he needs to improve the next day. Falguni ma'am, can you please give me the next slide?
Sure. So comes here the lockdown schedule.
Now, what you might say, like Moitri Miss said, that there should be a balance amongst academics as well as amongst recreation. Is it possible? I'm sure many children might be just, smirking. These are just things to say. Children, the schedule is in front of you. It is possible. It is very much possible. Okay. Now, you might see the wake up time, 6 a.m. Parents, most schools, I think the senior schools, children need to wake up either by 7 or by 7:30. Yeah. So I'll quickly make you understand the reason of waking up at 6 o'clock. Most successful people wake up early and complete and think about their ideas before the normal man wakes up. Yeah. Someone like Mr. Anil Ambani also wakes up at 3, jogs to the airport and comes back while the world is still sleeping to become fit. So if you want academic excellence, this is somewhere that you need to hit first, the nail first. Wake up early, complete with your morning chores. Obviously, you too are a pandemic warrior helping with the household chores, and start off with your school at 8. but not before taking blessings from a higher authority, your grandparents, or in front of God, because a few moments of that before your quest of knowledge will really give you a very positive attitude towards it. And next, children, after your 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever hours of screen time that you have, there is the parents. You bring in the world cuisine for you. Parents, this is where I want you to don the chef's hat and think about the food that you serve your child. Of course, you serve nutritious food, but parents, when a child is coming back from science, maths, history, civics, geography, may I say a complete khichdi of everything within 4-5 hours, and that also without personal interaction, just a visual interaction. Please serve food which really gives out those happy hormones so that he can actually think about studying again from 1 to 4 o'clock. After that, again, there is a break at 4 to 4:30, and this is something called 4 baje ki bhook, the 4 o'clock hunger pangs that we have. Parents up here giving that nutritious but something spicy will give the fuel to the child for another 3-hour study schedule, which I would like Falguni ma'am to mention that why we teachers have created 3-hour study schedules between 1 to 4 and 4:30 to 7:30. There is a specific reason. Why not after 1.5 hours to have a break? No, there's a reason behind it. Falguni ma'am, if you could just tell them.
Absolutely, yes. So parents, we have scheduled it as 1 to 4 and 4:30 to 7:30. It is a 3-hour session. Parents, the second language paper that your child is going to write in the board exam is a 3-hour paper. The 3 hours, he has to sit continuously without a break. So the child has to be trained to sit for 3 hours without having any break, without getting up just, for 5 minutes, I'm just a little tired. No. Because if you are looking for a fantastic score, then having concentration and focus for 3 hours is a must. So this comes only by practice and habit. So make it a point to design their 3-hour study time as at a stretch. Do not give breaks in between. Then when you are taking a half-an-hour break, take proper break. But while you are studying, only focus on studies. Yes, Tejal Miss, please continue.
Yes. So up here again, the parents play a very important role, especially in the 9th and 10th. If the children have to take the stress of studies, believe me, the way to their heart and mind is again through food. That food is the fuel that will push him, that he will be able to conduct and study those 3-hour blocks. Parents, in fact, along with the children, make a ready reckoner list of the entire week. So he knows, okay, at 7:30, I'm going to get the pav bhaji, or I'm going to get this amazing pizza, because that itself, really pushes you and, edges you ahead. Now, children, just look at the last part. From 7:30 to 10:30 is dinner and family time. So here, parents, if the children follow a proper schedule, they get these 3 hours, and these are not non-productive hours. These are the most important hours for your child's sanity. Up here also, if I was in your place, believe me, for me, it will be, I will actually plan it out in such a way that it will be board game Mondays, Damsharat Tuesdays, Antakshari Wednesdays, Card Thursdays, and Movie Fridays. Parents, don't think that just making daily plans for studies is important. Daily plan for the right food and right family time will spur your child towards academic excellence. And I'm hoping that, parents actually believe in this and take this ahead because it's time and tested. You share these schedules with our children. Believe me, parents, if in your schedule, if you put this in red, the 3-hour family time, believe me, the children will have a feeling that you're sensitive to their needs. Falguni ma'am, with this, may we go to the next part of the slide, please?
Absolutely. So parents, a fantastic balance between academics and recreation does wonders. So now we are going to talk about a sample self-study timetable, which we normally do it with our kids. So I'm sharing here on this platform. When you're making your 3-hour self-study plan, there are 2 important things that you have to keep in mind. You have to select 2 subjects every day for study. One is a learning subject and one is a writing subject. So daily 1.5 hours, once in a week, put 1 subject. So if we go through this, you will have on Monday, biology, Tuesday, second language. This is an example. You can then turn it according to what your schedule is. Wednesday, chemistry for those who have taken science. If you have not taken it, then economics or whatever your subject is. Once in a week, you can take history. Once in a week, physics or commercial studies. Once in a week, geography. Once in a week, literature. All 7 days, if you're going to just focus on 1 subject, thoroughly learn. 1.5 hours is more than enough. But if your focus is somewhere, you are listening to music and then studying, then 1.5 hours is not enough. So no music, no TV. You have to focus only on your learning. As Moitri Miss said, perfect learning, right? So this is the way you're going to do your 1.5 hour session. The next 1.5 hour session from Monday to Friday, you're going to break it up again into 2 parts. That is, your 45 minutes of self-study includes a writing subject. So 4 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. If you're going to do maths, 5 sums, relaxed practice. No doing every day. This is over and above your homework. This is your self-practice. So for example, I finished my, say, if you're in the 10th standard, you finish your GST chapter. So you have finished with your teachers in school or tuitions and your homework, everything is done. So let us make a plan that this week I'm going to master my GST. So just repeat all those sums that you have done, as in 5 sums a day. Do it with proper practice, without copying. Whatever sums you did not get, redo them. That's it. 45 minutes is more than enough. The next is your 45 minutes for homework. All 5 days. We have got Monday to Friday, 45 minutes for doing homework. Now you will say 45 minutes is not enough. Children, it is very much enough if there is no procrastination. So if there is no procrastination, yes, you don't delay tomorrow, I'll do this tomorrow. Then it will pile on. Then 45 minutes are not enough. Also, if you keep on piling, your weekends will just be those days where you are completing your backlog instead of enjoying your weekends. You follow? So make it a point, children, that today if I've got this homework, I'm going to finish this homework today. So if you get into that daily plan, you will be able to finish, you will have no backlog, and your weekends will be relaxing. Then we come to Saturday and Sunday. Yes, Moitri ma'am.
Actually, Miss, I would like to chime in over here that it is very essential to follow such plan, because this will train the children to solve papers within a limited time frame, because ICSE sets papers for 2 hours and children need to gear up and train themselves to do and complete the paper within that time slot. Like for example, in literature, I say that you are allotted 23.5 minutes to precisely complete 1 extract. Now, when you're practicing, such time plan gives you the precision, that edge, over the others. So definitely a time plan, time bound, can get you that perfection. This is beautifully done.
Absolutely bang on, Moitri Miss. That was a very wonderful thing that you pointed out, that the child learns to work in a particular time frame. Also, if you can see here, every Wednesday I've put physics numericals. So that is also writing practice. So 45 minutes, you do about 5 to 7 numericals, more than enough. If they are small, you can do a little more. Even for math, you know, those big problems, 5 are more than enough. But if it's algebra, you can then increase it to say 8 or 10. But don't extend your 45 minutes. Now coming to our wonderful Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday, Sunday, no math, provided you have done it on the earlier days. Otherwise, you will just catch this word that no math on Saturday, Sunday. So on a Saturday and Sunday, we have kept this optionals, as you can see. So even if you have PE, physical education, home science, fashion designing, those subjects where you really don't need tuitions, then also make it a point to sit with that book for 1.5 hours and go over it. Something which is done just one night prior to the exam or 1 week prior to the exam does not get you 100. So weekly make plans for those subjects also, though they may be really simple. Then coming to this red box, the most important, we choose a Sunday for English language. So why do we choose a Sunday for English language? No other work, you have finished learning literature. Sunday is a day which is a family time. Of course, lockdown, we have father, mother, everyone at home only. But here, this is for offline, online, both the times. Remember that Sunday is a day where you just want to relax. At the same time, if you use it 1.5 hours in a productive way, this is a time where you make your ready reckoners, your scrapbook, what Tejal ma'am had suggested, and in a fun-loving way, because you have finished your entire week's work. There is no backlog, and now you are free to attack your English language, which is actually, if not attacked, going to get your entire mark sheet down. So here, I want to, yes, Tejal
Exactly.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for not giving any stepmotherly treatment to my language, because language is not in any focus anywhere. Timetables are made just for physics, chemistry, and bio. So
Yes, and
yes, Tejal.
Falguni Miss, I associate when I'm teaching, in a class, if I'm teaching grammar, I associate grammar to mathematics. Grammar needs those rules, that precision, which a child needs in mathematics. If you don't know your rules, if you don't have that precision, your every comma, full stop, exclamation count. It is like a BODMAS, where you are opening your brackets. Okay, so it's, yeah, I associate grammar to, I always give example. It is BODMAS, children. So you're opening your brackets, and here you need to put in those brackets in place. The punctuation.
Yeah. Very true, ma'am. So, of course, the English language is a combination of your grammar, your compositions, everything. So here, I would like to make one point. So I had a student, entire concentration was on robotics. He wanted to become a robotic engineer. And everything that he could do was just in a pointer format. Imagine for essay, if a child just write in points, how is he going to get a full? When you want to go into robotics, you need to have overall marks. So now this boy, he was, doing this language every week, and see the drastic change and the beautiful change that occurred. So I would like to share here that he was given an autobiography of a shoe. Okay. And normally, the autobiography of a shoe, you relate it to some person, and then you connect and write that whole, journey of that person. So we do it for Tejal ma'am. Whom would you write the autobiography of a shoe to, if you had to do it?
Actually, since I love to climb hills, I would definitely have it of a trekker, because it is about different regions which I can describe.
Oh, wow. That was a nice one. Yes, Moitri Miss, anything that you can share?
Unmute yourself.
I totally agree with this because I love dancing. So I don't know, I'm not a dancer per se, but dancing is my passion. So I would like to be the shoe of a ballet dancer.
Oh,
Shubham sir, 12 floors climbing down your shoes.
Okay,
Yes.
so since soccer is my favorite sport,
Oh,
and
yes.
I'd like to, write an autobiography of a shoe of a soccer player,
Great.
wow.
and that
Great.
would also be really very good.
Very good.
Absolutely wonderful. So, friends, I will share with you here what the student did. He imbibed something wonderful. You know what he gave was something wonderful. He said, I'm a shoe of Neil Armstrong. And he described the entire moon voyage. And he was the first one to step on the moon. Can you believe this? So this is a kind of, beautiful work which unfolds if you're doing language once in a week. So, you can have twice a week essay. You can have every week, you can have about say 15-20 minutes of grammar. You can have twice a week essay, twice a week letter, some kind of schedule wherein you are not touching it just a week before the exam or 2 days before the exam. So I think that helps, and that makes you really stand out in the crowd, right, ma'am? Tejal miss, am I right?
Absolutely, and I'm glad to say that Shubham sir has allowed us to actually share timetables later. So I have actually put up a schedule where all the intricacies of language are divided into different months, so that you can block by block actually start adding finesse to every idea that you pen down. And with this, I think, Falguni, you have really given us an understanding that so many subjects which you showed at the starting, how it can be divided, and with a 3-hour self-study, you give proper emphasis on all. And with this, Falguni, what do you have next in store?
Yes. So now, uh, Tejal ma'am will share our collective effort towards the parents and student community as a whole. So Tejal miss, now all yours.
So, thank you.
This was a daily study plan, which they will get it in the document, which will be shared by Harbour Press.
Absolutely. So we will be giving this daily study plan, which will help you to create your plan, probably even if you want to be inspired with our plan. But before we say a goodbye, Shubham sir, just want to share something, Shubham sir, that we teachers who have spent around more than 15 years in our profession, that's the time that you realize that how this profession has enriched you, Shubham sir, and we would like to give back to society. So with that idea in mind, a team of teachers have got together and created the parent teacher student group or association, wherein we have connected with more than 10,000 parents over all over the world, specifically for the ICSE schools at present, so that every week, Shubham sir, you'll be happy to know that we post subject-wise tips, ideas, and guidelines, means basically free resources. What I showed you in language, I actually give sheets and sheets of this vocabulary every Monday on the PTS WhatsApp group, the way Moitri miss and Falguni ma'am also post their notes free of charge on those groups, so that parents can not only gain advantage of the vision of the experience that we've collected over the years, but at the same time, they're free to post queries and get a immediate answer on those. So we have tried to be a 24/7 guidance and counseling center for the students free of charge since quite some time now, and we are sharing this with you, Shubham sir, so that through you, we hope more parents and students can take advantage of it. And with this, I would request Moitri ma'am to give us the final word of the long session that we've had and the patient audience we've had.
So here, can I chime in a little bit, Moitri ma'am, before you conclude the whole thing? So parents, I would like to make a point out here that though this was, made for ICSE standard 9th and 10th only, but this is something which you can take it across all the boards in this pandemic situation. Any board, whether you are from India or abroad. Today we have had quite a bit of viewers joining in from France and Spain and London also. So very grateful that they are still here. I can see them, and it's very nice that they have taken interest over here. So though we had to do it only for ICSE per se, but this is the plan that you can take wherever your child is studying. You got to just see to it that you break the plan, your syllabus, into tiny bits and pieces. Make achievable monthly plan first, then make a weekly plan, and see to it that every night make a logbook that have you achieved it or not achieved it. Try to explain to the child, and wherever you are, whichever board, whichever standard, definitely by giving this perfect monitoring, you can get the best out of your child, right? So now, Moitri Miss, you can please continue.
Thank you, Falguni Miss. Thank you, Tejal Miss. I support and I totally agree to what Falguni Miss has just said. Plans are achievable across all boards, across borders, and you can gather and comprehend that fitness and put it into action. Now, it has been left to me to give the thank you note. Now, that is a very, very, I mean, emotional part of it. And I can say that this has been a wonderful, wonderful evening. Now, I am truly and sincerely grateful to the internationally acclaimed publishing house, Harbour Press, for creating this platform where we educationists could reach out to the world. I say the world because, as Falguni Miss has now pointed out, that we have viewers from London, Spain, and France. So definitely, this has been a great, great global platform. Harbour Press has been acknowledged as a worldwide esteemed publishing house who cater to the needs of lakhs of students and teachers. And I would like to tell all parents over there that I, as a teacher, strongly advocate Harbour Press because I have gone through their books when I'm making the book list for my school. Thank you, Harbour Press, for being supportive to the cause of education. I take this opportunity to thank Shubham sir. I mean, he has been a wonderful anchor who has been with us, chiming in every now and then. And this is my first opportunity to meet a youngster and to be with him. And he has been guiding us, tutoring us how to go through this entire program. And it has been a great evening. All thanks to Harbour Press and to Shubham sir. It was truly, truly a great experience. I take this opportunity to thank my colleagues, Falguni Miss and Tejal Miss. They have been the creators and the mentors behind PTS Educare, and they are teachers without borders. They have selflessly dedicated themselves to the cause of education, and they have been mentoring students year after years. And let me tell you, it is a great feeling when students come back and they acknowledge the kind of work that Tejal Miss and Falguni Miss does for them. Big thank you to both of you teachers. A big thank you to all parents and students who have participated in today's webinar. Truly speaking, you all have been great listeners, and I hope you return back from today's session with your doubts being clarified, and hopefully I think and I am sure that the session has been productive and resourceful. Thank you, dear parents, for being with us throughout the session. Thank you, Harbour Press, once again for giving us this platform. Thank you. Thanks a lot. God bless. Good night.
Moitri
Thank
ma'am,
you so much,
take this
Moitri ma'am.
opportunity to thank you very much. Before you have been there along with us, and before I hand over to Shubham sir, sorry, sir.
Thank you so much, Moitri ma'am, for your kind words for Harbour Press International. Also, thank you, Falguni ma'am and Tejal ma'am, for doing such a kind work by sharing information to that WhatsApp group which you mentioned. I mean, it is rightly said that if you give a hungry man a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. So your teachers are doing a very great job, and we really appreciate your work. And thank you very much, all the three speakers, for this wonderful session today. I'm very sure that this session was very beneficial for all the parents, teachers, and students who watched us live today. And it will also be beneficial for the viewers who will watch this in the future. This session will be available on our YouTube platform and our Facebook page for all the viewers to watch again if they want to. And they can, anytime view our YouTube channel as well. We post regular webinars, regular shows as well on different topics like health and how to access the online education, and all those kind of topics you can find on our YouTube channel as well. Also, we'll be sharing the presentation on our Facebook page where you can view or download it as per your need. Again, I'm very thankful to Falguni, Moitri, and Tejal ma'am for sharing such important and crucial tips for the children and parents, which will definitely aid them in getting excellent marks in the final examinations. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you again. And with that, I think we say bye-bye to the parents too.